All right, let's go. Everybody, I wanted to save today's class. I'm not even sure if I'm going to put it in the university. I'm not even sure. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to poll my audience real quick. I want you all to tell me briefly what would you currently like to know right now? Let me hear that real quick. As far as your business and money.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hey, PJ.
Hey, I know you've addressed this issue and it should be real clear to me, but the thing pressing my mind right now is how do I monetize all that I'm putting out there? I think you said that the last call I was in about, I share a lot of this, I share a lot of other people's information. I'm trying to establish myself as a resource, but then you said my next step, I should be monetizing that.
Absolutely. And the good thing is I'm going to talk about that at the very beginning, but the answer to your question is you need to immediately get people to buy your allegiance. Now, I'm going to go into detail into that. Probably, let me see where it's at on my agenda real quick. It's the very first thing I'm talking about, PJ. The very first thing. The very first thing, let's see. 1, 2, 3. The very first 4 things I'm talking about. In fact, I'll list them for you right now. You must train, if y'all taking notes, train your followers to desire wealth and then tie you into that desire, okay? You want to train your followers to desire wealth and then tie you into that desire. Now, wealth can be defined in a few things depending on what the customer wants, and we'll get into that. The second thing is people, now don't be offended by this, are driven by primitive and irrational forces. Sorry, although I do sound like Sigmund Freud right now. Primitive and irrational forces, and you have to tap into that, which I'll explain here a little bit. Number 3, you need to sell yourself and your products by connecting with people's unconscious feelings. Sell yourself, or in this case, sell PJ and PJ's products, and then connect PJ and her products to their unconscious feelings. And then the 4th one is we want to value perception over impression, which I'll get to that here in a second. Those 4 things, PJ, are going to answer your question. Okay? I promise I'm going to attack your question with those 4 things. Cool?
And okay, yeah. And if you're personalizing it a bit, even though I'm talking about online and Facebook and on social media at the moment, also a burning need for me right now is to sell tickets to my event. And let me set it up like this. I've walked into this facility, the venue I'm using. Now, say there's a funeral there for a young kid who had a horrible, untimely death or something, either a gang shooting, or that type of thing. That place will be so full, you violate the fire codes, okay? It's packed. You have an event or unless it's something horrific like that, it seems like you can't pack that room. Okay, if we're doing something good or teaching or an education, you can feel the breeze from the empty seats.
Right, exactly.
So I was laying in bed last night in the middle of the night, picturing that room just packed. And what occasions and events I saw it packed. And then when I saw it empty, where my head is at, okay, so now what do I need to do to harness some of that passion or energy or desire to fill those seats that got those other people there. And I don't want anybody to die, of course, for that to happen, but you know what I'm saying. So that's if I'm not clear. So my question, I guess, with that is, where's the missing link in between people coming out for heartfelt events or tragedies and participating voluntarily because you asked them to? And I don't know if that's a bridge we can gap, but I need to gap it enough to fill some seats.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there are a lot of companies that are bridging that gap. Amazon doesn't have to have someone to be shot for you to buy from them. So there are a lot of companies that are bridging that gap. Basketball, the NBA Finals is happening right now at the time of this recording, and they're showing up in record numbers across continents, or not continents, across countries in North America and Canada. So that's, North America is a continent, around USA and Canada. Okay. So yes, people are doing that. Let me pause real quick. Who else wants to go Raptors? Simply is not a Raptors fan. She's anti-Warriors because those Warriors always knock out the Rockets. Anybody else? Let me hear from you. What are you? Just free talk. I would like to tailor what I am about to do to your burning need, pressing need, burning desire, or your extreme pain point. Anyone else? Anyone else brave enough? All right. Well, we're going to use PJ. Hopefully you get something. But the question, maybe so let me pause. My question is, what is hurting you, or what's that one thing you would like to have accomplished concerning your business, etc.? That's because I haven't told you what the class is yet, but I have an agenda I probably won't even complete because it's so long, but I know what I want to do. Anyone want to tell me what their major struggle is, or just, and I don't want to define struggle, okay? What your major struggle is, anything like that.
My major struggle is just getting what needs to be done. I'm just lazy. I don't just need to get it done, so that when it's done, I can say, okay, I see why he told me to do that, and get those things done, so I can move forward in the business.
Fair enough. So you're not lazy, not because I know you. There's no such thing as a lazy person. What you are is you haven't found a motivation or a cause that gets you out of your seat. That's your real problem. Even all the family members you call lazy, I bet you, if you give them their device or their vice, depending on who they are, a device can move people, or their vice can move people. They move. Your lazy uncle that sleeps on the couch, they move for something, right? They move. They are absolutely motivated by something. There's no lazy people. People just have a hard time attaching themselves to a cause. So let's see. How can I word that? Find a way to word that in chat for me. Put Grace problem. Just put Grace problem, and I'll remember it when I come back to it. All right. Anyone else?
Antonio?
Yes, sir.
I don't know exactly, but I'm gonna just throw it out there. You know, as you know, for me, getting with the ATS family, I'm learning a great deal. As a matter of fact, it's so much that I feel like I'm overwhelmed. Because what I thought at one time was to get into this, but as you know, this my great desire to be like my idol Les Brown. I'm going to be a fantastic speaker. I'm not saying I want to be. I'm going to be. But the thing for me is that now that I've learned what I've learned from you, is where to start and put it all together. You know, just like the other day we were talking, and I realized, okay, I got to start a whole new business, Facebook and Instagram, and I'm thinking in my mind, because ideas, you know, to put my story into a book and to write my own motivational book, so to speak. And, you know, like you're doing. And all these things are my goal, but I'm feeling like, okay, Jesus Christ, you know, I feel so overwhelmed because there's so much I have to learn and so much I have to put together. I feel like in my head, like, you know, I feel like that JG Wentworth commercial, you know, it's my money and I want it now, you know, but, you know, it's my dream and I want it now. But I know that, you know, there's steps and a process in between it. I'm just overwhelmed as, okay, how do I get this thing off to the first step, you know, and what do I do for the first step? Do I write the book first? Do I work on the speaking? It's like, I'm scattered, you know, so I would just like to get a little input, you know. I know you were once a beginner, and I just like to have an idea, you know, if you give a template as I can follow, you know, to make it less overwhelming for me.
That's fantastic. Today's class is a template. I am calling this class the ATS method of getting started and dominating. Okay, that's it. That's what we're talking about today. So today's class is a method. None of this is what I read in a book. It's what I did and what I currently do. And a lot of it is what I currently do now to get better and better each day. I'm pretty much double in impact every day, which explains my meteoric rise. Kind of tapped into that. So I'm going to bring that out. So good job. So I'll stop taking a little feedback for right now. Same feeling. All right. That's what I wanted to. I knew what to do, that's for sure, but I wanted to see if I can tailor it into what I would desire to do. Go ahead, John. Let me hear from John Nowinski this time.
I just wanted to call out a success that I just had. I'm in the process of writing the Race to 5,000 book, and one of the things that's been holding me back is the preface for it. And I think I just knocked it out of the park. I've shared it with some others for their feedback, and I've gotten a bunch of thumbs up. So I think it's now in the process of just putting it all together and turning it loose on the world.
Congratulations on that success, man. Good job there. I'm glad you got that out the way. My first book in 2014, which released June 2014, took me 3 years to even, from 11 to 2014 to write the book. But the truth is, once I started being myself, I wrote the book in less than 6 months. And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. When I was trying to sound like I thought an author should sound like, you know, it took me 3 years to do all that stuff. And that's Keep Walking is the name of that book. But once I became me, and y'all know who I am, right? Once I became me and I put that in the book, it flowed out. So congratulations to you, John. Congratulations to you. With those of you who are here, you are lucky because, and I remember telling myself, you know what? I really hope that the right people log on today. And I even said to myself, well, of course they have to, because they wouldn't be able to exist in this reality if they did not. So what I want to do today is I want to teach you some stuff. Some of it is psychological, and some of it will be goals, and then some of it will be practical, but it all makes sense. And we're going to start off with the psychological first, because that's the problem with getting started. Your psyche is one problem, but then how do you align their psyche with what you want to do? So everyone write this down before I get started. People don't know what they want until you tell them. And that is an attitude that you should have henceforth, because it's a fact. You're currently on a device that you did not know you wanted until someone like you created that device. However you're listening to me, someone no smarter than you created that device, and boom, now all of a sudden you want it. Please hear this. No one wants anything until you tell them. Now let's go with this great blueprint of mine. Write this down in first person. I must train my followers to desire wealth and desire me. That's what I had you, the 4 things. What I had you write down earlier. I must train my followers to desire wealth and desire me. Now, before you tune me out and think, oh, this is just some general answer, it's not. You want a template, right? Yes. You want to fill seats in your event, right? Yes. Now, let's break this sentence down. Have you trained the people you're talking to, the people you're trying to reach, that there's this standard of wealth, whatever that may be, and you fit that standard, pay attention, and access to that wealth comes through you. Somebody should have wrote all that down. I'll see if I can repeat it. The important part was train. You want to train the people you're trying to reach. That's the first part. That there is a desire of wealth, the standard of wealth, whatever that may be. And you match that standard. And the only way to get to that standard is you. So it's 4 parts. You got it down? Do I need to repeat again? All right, for you one more time. You need to train. So number 1, the people you're trying to reach. Then, what was the next thing? Then there is a standard of wealth that's just, it's out there. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you, but you, well, I'll break it down a little bit. There's a standard of wealth that's out there. 3, and you are that standard. You are in complete alignment with that standard. Well, I'll break that down a little bit. You are that standard. And the last part, and the only way to get to that great standard that keeps waking you up at night is through PJ. It's through me. You get it? Now, I just said a whole lot, but I'll break it down. Are you ready? You got it written down? All right, put it in chat. We'll copy and paste and put it in chat for me too. So Grace is in front of me writing this down. And I'm kind of using her speed of typing to see if that matches your speed of typing as well. Now, PJ, have you trained? John, have you trained? John Calloway, have you trained the people you're reaching? Now, of course, we know a big chunk of that training comes through content. If you haven't been posting content, shame on you, but you need to start the training process now, okay? It's not as bad as you would think it is. It's not as bad as you would think it is. It's terrible, but it's not as bad as you think it is, because if you start today, there's still about 99 people behind you that won't start ever. That's why it's not as bad as you think it is. You need to condition people to want to buy from you. Now, if you think this is mojo or weird talk, it's not. It is a tried and proven system that the corporations have done on you. They've trained you to buy from them. Think about your favorite product. Think about your very favorite product, whatever that may be. Think about your favorite 10. You've been trained to buy from these people no matter how smart or anti-consumerism that you are. You've been trained. If I give you a pair of, someone tell me if you want to start losing weight, and I told you, your doctor told you, the only way you can do it is run. You have to do massive cardio. You have to do 2-mile runs every day. Everybody got me? And let's make it 4-mile runs every day. Let me see. Phil Sorrentino, if you can, unmute your mic for me, please. I'm going to call out people 101. I want to show you something. If you had to run 4 miles a day, Phil, what tennis shoes would you think would be required?
Saucony.
Okay. Say the name again.
It's Sakami, I think it was what they're called.
Sakami, okay? Okay, yeah, the SACHOMY, yeah, those. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, you got his, right? All right. Now, Susan, they're married. Let's see if Susan has the same answer. Susan, what? They're not just married. They've been married for a long time, so their brains are completely in sync. That's different. That's a different kind of marriage. What shoes would you say if the doctor says you have to run 4 miles a day? Actually, let's make it 8 miles a day for you, Susan, because you already run 4 miles a day. If the doctor says you have to run 4 miles a day, what shoes would you say, this is the shoes I have to have?
Probably Asics for running.
Okay, see that? And I love her answer. Thank you very much, Susan. I love her answer had a prepositional phrase in it, for running. As if she understands there's some qualities out there, but for this, since you said this, I have a selection of thises, and this, one of these thises match that, right? You get what I'm saying? Good. That's powerful, because why did she say that? John Calloway, unmute your mic. The doctor tells you have to run 4 miles a day.
Mm-hmm.
You have no choice. Like, if you want to live tomorrow, if you want to live past 24 hours, you got to run 4 miles a day. Doctor says that. What shoes will you recommend for yourself?
I usually running shoe starter.
Starter. Good. No problem. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. That starter makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna show you real quick. PJ, unmute your mic, please. The saucony. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Good. Those shoes. PJ, what shoes do you say that doctor says, PJ, if you want to live past tomorrow, I'm serious. Like, if you don't start 4 mile running right now, right? Yeah. Now, what shoes would you say, well, my life depends on these shoes? You see how I'm wording this question? What would you say those shoes would be for you?
Wow. Well, I don't know all those expert brands like you talk, because I'm not a runner. However, they would have to be shoes that were wide and comfortable. I've had good luck with Pumas and things of that nature. They need to be somehow rated, specialized for running. I wouldn't buy a walking shoe. I wouldn't buy an aerobic shoe. If I was going to be a runner, I'd buy something that was designed to give me everything I needed for safety, comfort, and endurance to be a runner. So I do the research and find it.
So let's find, well, you don't have time to research. You got 5 minutes to choose. So which ones would you choose? Because your life depends on it.
Do I get to try them on?
That's a good question. You only get to try on one brand. Which brand would you pick?
Puma.
Good answer. Okay, good. Did y'all see that? All right, let's see. John Nowinski. Unmute your mic, please, if you can. Remember, the way I'm wording this question is, you got it. I had to do 8 miles for Susan, right? She runs on Mondays because it's Monday, right? I'm going to do 8 miles for Susan. Because she probably do that in flip-flops, All right, John's unmuting his mic. Let's see. Daryl, are you able to unmute your mic? Okay. All right, we'll come back to that. Well, we probably won't need to come to that. Now, what would be, Grace, what would be your answer? I'm curious to know if your answer is the same as mine.
I'll probably go with Nike.
Okay, my answer is the same as yours. I want you all to pay attention to something. Of course, my answer is the same as yours. You were born in 1980. I was born in 1981. Guess who rose to dominance in the 80s? Okay. Guess who had all the money being spent saying we're the best? Nike. Okay. When we were most impressionable, Nike was most impactful and spending the most money. And if you think about all your answers, so that's to say the ones I bought for her, right? That's kind of smart. Now, think about all your answers. Puma. When was Puma right? Puma seems to match the era in which PJ, you get it? The Sauconys. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody named a shoe, whether you know it or not. We were conditioned to name that shoe, even if it's from experience. Like, I'm not saying you're asleep, or I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just saying, who put in my head that Nike is the shoe I need to have my life dependent on? Like, keep in mind, no answer that anybody gave was an objective fact. But if you ask us, it would be, right? Like, no, nothing but I need Nikes for this one. Yeah, Nike's made on the narrow side, she said, right? It makes sense. But I want you to think about this for a second. Is everyone seeing that PJ was conditioned to think Nike's made on the narrow side? She just posted in the chat. I'm not telling you she's wrong. I'm telling you that they didn't condition her to say we benefit plus size feet, plus size women, people with wide feet. You get it? Is this making sense to you? If you were 7 feet tall, big and tall would be somewhere in your awareness to clothing, okay? Let me hear from you, Susan.
Just for the record, Nike is my shoe that I use for training, for squats, for everything else except for running.
Except for running. That makes sense. That makes sense. So I should have reworded the question differently for Susan, right? But and listen, it's not just an age thing. It could be when you started taking athletics seriously. You have to remember, when you change, the market's already out there. So now when you change and say, I want something, the market goes, I'm glad you changed. Hey, pick from these. And you're only going to pick the top brand. Please know, no one here picked some mom and pop shoe, although it would be better, wouldn't it? You understand what I'm saying? If you just joined in, not only I pull my audience first, but I'm giving you the Antonio T. Smith Jr. method of what I actually did to build my businesses from zero to where it is now, in order of importance that I deem it should be in order. Period. This is the way I deem it should be in order. And right now I'm in a psychological perspective, and I'm asking you blatantly, I'm telling you, you must train your followers to desire wealth, and then you match that wealth, okay? So what I want to do is, Grace, copy and paste all 4 of those points I made you do, just for the people joining in so they can see it in the chat now, and we're going to walk right through them. What I just did was I just showed you an exercise. Now, again, this isn't about right or wrong. It's about our conditioning. Susan says she uses Nike for so do I. When I go buy, the only time I ever bought any other tennis shoes besides Nike was in the United States Army, only because I had a flat arch and we were running 8 miles a day, and the shoes that I needed for my particular arch were in the PX Post Exchange, and they were New Balances. That's the only reason. I never would have wore New Balances in my life if it wasn't for, you know, if your arch is messed up, is if when you're running on this, your shins are on fire. They're on fire. And I couldn't last, and, you know, I've signed a contract with the government, so I have to last or die, right? That's kind of the thing. Is everyone processing that for 4 years of my athletic life, I wore New Balances, and the moment I got out, I went right back to Nikes. I own one pair of tennis shoes to this day right now. Just one. I run so much in them, they curled up like this. Without my foot in them, the toe is up like this here. It's ridiculous. I don't even tie them no more, Susan. I just slip my feet in, and because they automatically tight, because I keep them super tight, because I like to run with tight shoes. PJ, let me hear from you.
I just went and looked at a pair of shoes that are my go-tos, and I said, I wonder what they are now that you said this. And I mean, when I'm in kick butt mode, I need to move it. Got to have support. I'm gonna be walking long time, and they're how you pronounce it? Filas, Filas.
Yep.
I want to make a thing here. How I picked mine was based on a younger person, actually. My niece, a millennial, well, she's not a millennial anymore, but that late 30 age, whatever you guys are, she's in the late 30s.
Okay. Up to 37, 38.
Okay, because to me, a sneaker was really never that important because I was in professional shoes for so many years. I was in sneakers very rarely, and even if I went to the gym, I didn't need anything big. Long story short, when I decided to start getting into going to the gym, doing those 5-mile walks and things of that nature, and found Nikes and most shoes too narrow for my width of my foot and whatever, even before I had extra weight, they just were not comfortable shoes the way my feet are made. I started asking around. So my niece turned me on to Pumas. She turned me on to Filas, and then I found out a lot of Black people, or, you know, my culture people wore a lot of these shoes, and they were also supposedly hip and sharp and nice and the thing at the time. So I gravitated to those shoes. I'll go to New Balance. I'll go to Walmart and get a pair of sneakers. You know, if I have to, little lightweight things. So I just want to, you know, it all depends for me what's going on and what my need is at the time.
That's right. That's right. And I completely agree with you. And the only people you're going to buy from, in most cases, are the people who have conditioned you to buy from them. You get it?
Yes. Yes.
In a certain scenario, you have different conditions. If Susan wants to run long distances, her conditions switch and she picks another shoe. But when she's ready to have a high intense training for comfort and durability and support, whether it be arch support, ankle support, you understand? Nike. You get it? I mean, she said it herself. Now, the point of that is we are all conditioned, whether you want to be or not. And I mean, no disrespect to anybody. I love being woke, but I also understand that I was born in an era in which consumerism is king. We're not in the 1500s to where they had really big buildings and they made you look really small inside those buildings so you could remember that you're nothing. Yep. We're in the hyper modern era, or post-modernity, or hyper-modernity, or postmodernism. All of those are acceptable terms. That's where we are. We value logic over reasoning far more than the people from the 1900s who invented logic and reasoning and valuing that. And then from them, the Renaissance period, they went back to logic and reasoning. All that stuff, right? The 1700s said, let's go back to the classics. Let's rebirth. So all the way back to antiquity, all the way back when Rome was there, right? What you want to be understanding here is you need to start conditioning your customer. So when PJ said, how can I sell these tickets? PJ, have you conditioned your current prospects that seat is what they need for this condition of their life, this moment, this day, this season, this winter, this spring, this cause, this whatever? And what you should be catching what I'm seeing is you got to take the conditioning of a customer and then marry it to something. You got to take the conditioning. You got to take the conditioning of a customer and then marry it to something. It must be pointed to, not pointed. It has to be in motion towards something. It must. It absolutely must. What is? I could ask you, but we all know what I'm pointing you to. What does Antonio Smith point you to? Domination. Do you understand? And the only people who are going to follow me are successful women who got their stuff together or used to having their stuff together, or strong men, because these two type of different demographics have no issue with the word dominate. You understand what I'm saying? Like PJ Susan, Denise, it's the three women, and then Tempest, and then Grace. Y'all have no issues with competing whatsoever. Think about it. Like, think about your mindset. You have no issues competing, period. That's not to say that you are in competition with people, but you know when it's time to win, that's what you're going to do. You follow me? But I pointed you to that. That's not to say you didn't already have it in you. I had to say, hey, here's this winning thing, and point this way, and I'll build the rest later. Okay, go ahead, PJ. I'm listening.
Oh, there's smoke coming out of my ears. I can't even process this fast enough. But a little caveat. Okay, so pointing people towards things. The light bulb went on that I am fighting against the wave here because I'm trying to, this is my interpretation. It may not even be true. This is my interpretation. I'm trying to point people toward these tickets, toward a venue, toward an event to raise money for something that many of them may feel is not a winning ticket. Many of them may feel that I'm like rah, 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 but they're like, oh, it's a sinking ship. Why should I jump on that sinking ship and pour money into it? No matter how much positivity I'm spouting. So that just hit me that, okay, I've got to overcome that part, how they either see the leadership or how they see the finances of the place I'm raising money for, that whole church culture thing too. And even from the community. Wow. Wow. I'm not going to say any more about that at the moment.
That's good. No, that's good. Did y'all get what PJ's getting? So the same thing she's getting is what you got to do for your business. Now, here's a surefire way to overcome all those obstacles. You have to make sure that they're going to get those seats and they're going to look good. And they're the king or queen. And my favorite part, and network marketers do this all the time, and you needed them. You needed them to buy this ticket. You do that, they'll buy it every time. Every single time. Every single time. You hear a network marketer go, hey, Antonio, how's it going? Listen, I really value your opinion, and I would love for you to look at this for me and give me your thoughts, because I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Right? I just had somebody do that to me 2 weeks ago. I literally just had somebody do that to me 2 weeks ago. That's totally a pitch. You did not value my opinion, but it's okay. It's all good. But did it work? Yes. I looked at it. It totally fed my ego, right? Because we are irrational creatures, which I'm going to bring up here in a little bit. Now, let me just pause real quick. Is everyone besides PJ, because I'm going to talk about PJ, processing this information the way PJ is? Let me hear from at least one or two people. Ask me a question. I can't move on until then. Everybody's quiet today. Give me at least one person. I need to make sure, because I'm about to build 100 times over on what we just did. All right, then we'll just take from PJ and we'll trust her. All right, this is where we get a bit more powerful, and those of you who choose to, be vocal, ask some questions, you'll get the most benefit out of it. So let's go back over these things. PJ, here we go. Now that you understand that they have something and you need to train them, you need to train them towards you. So if you remember, the first thing I said was, you got to train them that there's wealth out there. Now, they already have that in them. They don't have it to the way they probably need it, but they got this dream in them. They have this etc. in them, whatever it already is. Now, what you need to do is take what they already have, and then you're going to add it to what they want, but now you need to embody or become what they want. You understand what I'm saying, PJ? the people buying those tickets, they want something. They want to look, maybe they want to look like a philanthropist in this case. Then you need to look like you need help.
I'm listening.
You feel what I'm saying? You have to, yeah, because you must become what this customer needs, whether you want to or not, right? You have to become what this customer needs. I'll explain it to you in what you call, not socialism, the study of people in a group, social something. I can't remember the name right now, right? But I'll explain to you in that. I want you to take a police officer, and I want you to put the police officer in some neighborhood. Doesn't matter the color, the culture, it doesn't matter. Just put a police officer in a neighborhood. Now what I want you to do is I want you to put the teenagers of that neighborhood trying to challenge the authority of the police officer. Okay? Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, in what scenario can the police officer lose? Let me hear from you. Is there any scenario that the police officer can lose? Go ahead.
Say the first part of that sentence again, Antonio.
Got you. I want you to imagine a police officer. I want you to imagine them in a neighborhood. The neighborhood doesn't matter, just whatever neighborhood you're comfortable with. The culture doesn't matter. And I want you to put a bunch of teenagers. Let's make them 8 teenagers. And they're unarmed, okay? And the teenagers are now challenging the authority of that one police officer. And I'm asking you, give me an acceptable scenario in which that police officer can lose and it'd be okay.
Because what I see when you say teenagers challenging the police officer's authority is this, they just mouthing off.
Right. And I'm being vague on purpose. I'm being vague. That's why I just made sure I said they're unarmed, but I'm being vague on purpose. They're running their mouth. Should the police officer lose here?
I mean, they're not really doing anything. If they haven't said anything threatening towards the police officer.
They're running their mouth and being threatening to the police officer, challenging him or her authority.
Well, is threatening a police officer a crime? If it is, then they about to get hooked up. I mean, you can't tell.
All right, then. So you say they got to get hooked up. It just is what it is. That's what you said. But it's challenging authority, right? All right, then. They got to get hooked up. Anyone else? Is it?
Okay. If I'm understanding, you're saying how can the police officer lose in this situation, not the kids, right?
Is there any acceptable way that the police officer can lose?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is a community policing mentality. You know, I'm going back to my criminal justice days where there were officers assigned as community police officers. If this guy is a community police officer, his role, his purpose is to build a bridge and a bond with the community to help the community, not just enforce the laws. So if he has to go violent, then he has not fulfilled his purpose. So in that sense, he could lose, because he's going to lose his credibility if he can't employ tactics to communicate verbally with these youths, what we call de-escalate the violence and the possibility of threats versus escalate and have to shoot somebody, tase somebody, or whatever. He would lose in that instance if he was a community enforcement officer.
Well, but the good thing is, in the scenario you put out, he still doesn't lose because he's the one employing tactics to diffuse the situation. Therefore, he's not losing. You get it? Like, even if it comes off as losing, if it comes off as peace or whatever it is, it's because he decided it to be that way, or she decided it to be that way. Yes? And that's winning. And here's what I'm trying to show you. Under those, there's no acceptable situation that the police officer can lose. Period. Point blank. Cannot. You know why? Because the police officer represents a system that's not supposed to lose. Period. The system can't lose, because if the system loses in this neighborhood, what's to stop it from happening to another neighborhood? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not telling you this is right, and I'm not trying to put in the, the sociopath police officers that take it too far, something like that. I'm just telling you from this social experiment that the police officer can't lose because he or she is not going to lose no matter what because their system can afford to take a loss. Tie it back to PJ. PJ, the people buying your tickets cannot afford to take a loss. They are the police officers in this scenario. You are the teenager. And you must allow them to think they are doing those community things you talked about, those peaceful acts. And in this case, you need to look like if you're talking to someone that wants to look good all the time, y'all know, let me talk about men for a second. You know that man, PJ, that the only time he do something is when he can take credit for it. Come on now. Let me talk real just for a moment. You know what kind of man I'm talking about. The only time he come to church is when he preaching. Don't act like you don't know who. You know some people like that, PJ. You understand?
Yeah.
If he can't sing the solo, he not in the choir that day. You understand that person? Then what you need to do is you need to come off as weaker than this person and what they need.
Wow.
Exactly, right? And now this is where you take your pride off. Right? You're never going to sell that person being their corrector. It's never going to happen. But if you go, now I'm just going to do this because it totally works. It totally works. I know it works because I'm an alpha male. I know it works. Okay. As soon as I hear that voice, ooh, okay, right, you know what I'm saying? Right? Like I know, I be strong, ripping trees off, swinging from the vine like Tarzan. And someone go, oh, okay, okay, right? I immediately turn soft. You see one of my kids come up, hey, buddy, right? I'm real quick, right? Like real quick, like to get the whole facade, there is a little baby that comes out. And that's how you have to do your customers. Okay, now not everyone's not going to do that, but the point is you have to attach yourself to their prosperity. Whatever their prosperity is, that's why I just use the word wealth, because wealth can sometimes be them wanting to take credit for your idea.
Mm.
Yeah, well, since I use pastor for PJ since she's in the church thing, yes, I'll let PJ come in and do her seminar, but it needs to look like I, pastor, made sure she did that. And if she's going to make it look like it's her ministry, we can't do it. Because it's only one ministry in this church. Okay, you get the idea?
So when she agrees to do the way you want, the pastor would like to, she's attaching herself to your prosperity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's how I get most of my top paying clients, and you're going to love this, PJ. I get most of my top paying clients. I say, hey, PJ, I see you got some stuff going on in the business. I would love to fix that. And I give them a small pitch without this big pitch, because I don't have to talk much. And then I say, here's the beautiful, can you go on my briefcase? There should be some, sure, T. It's even in my marketing. This is my business card. It's even in the marketing. Here's one side of my business card. This is my current business card right now. Do y'all see this? One side of my business, all black. One side of my business card says just the logo. Now look, here's my business card. Look at that. Well, how are we going to get in contact with you, man? Where's your information? It says, keep this secret. Y'all see it? You see it? This is my real deal. I pay a lot of money for these cards, okay? It's my real deal card. Keep this secret. But if you zoom in, you can see the information. Got me? Now, why am I telling you that? Because I pull this tactic all the time, PJ. Here's how I get my top end clients. I understand that every CEO on planet Earth is a narcissist, no matter what. Phil, Susan, Antonio, Tony Robbins, Barack, Donald Trump, Grant Cardone, Mother Teresa. narcissist. Okay? Period, point blank. Now, some of us have skill sets that curb that. Mother Teresa being one of the greatest of all time. You get what I'm saying? But we want whatever that is, that we want to see something in our head come into existence. That's God, right? Like, think about that. We want to manifest something out of nothing into existence and have people follow it. Please know, when you want customers, you want worshipers. Oh, wow. I know it's when no one thinks about it like that, but me and people that know how to control crowds like me. Okay. Now I want you to think about this. The reason I get all this, you see how big this is? Because I come to PJ, I say, PJ, I'm gonna make you a lot of money, but here's how I operate. I find out, PJ's gonna love this too. I find out that this is the best way for me to stay in business. You get all the credit. Every single thing that I do, you must take credit for it. It's my business model. I do. You see, even did on top. You have to take credit for this, PJ. But not only that, when you take credit, I'm gonna make sure you get it. And then when I do something, when you put me out front so I can train your people, I'm gonna purposely say, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank PJ. She spent a lot of money for me to train you, even though I might be doing this particular thing pro bono, right? That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to let them know that the moment they are admiring my brilliance, it's because you paid for it. Everybody get that? Yeah. Now, PJ, just listen to that. I'm going to give you all the credit. I take my money on the back end, virtually no risk to you, and I walk away building your thing greater. The only thing that I ask you to do is you refer me to more people like you. That's how I stay in business so long. That's why I'm here. PJ, how likely is it? I want you to go into the carnal you, not to save you, right? Go into the carnal you. How likely is it you like, okay, then, shoot, I might have to work with this young man. Right? You get that? Because it's like I'm giving you all the credit. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because when you start talking to when PJ starts selling her seats, she needs to find a way to give them 100% credit for buying that ticket. They spent $25. Oh, that's my fault. Y'all don't know that. Okay, I'll finish my sentence. They spent $25, and she needs to find a way to give them $200 worth of credit. And I was going to say that, but it made me realize this. Everybody write this down. Everybody write this down. If I spend $80,000 on your product, it automatically means I think it costs more. Automatically. And I don't think y'all knew this. You've heard it? Okay, good. If I spend money, that means if I'm spending $25 on your ticket, it means that I automatically think it costs more. I'll give you a great example. I remember a few weeks ago, I went live to PJ, say, hey, y'all, let's hip hop. All right. $25 was completely insignificant to me. Helping PJ was more valuable than the $25. This is to my organization, to her near 100% of being in attendance all the time. You understand? From the way she shares statuses and any other thing that's in my head that I haven't revealed was worth more than $25. Are you hearing me, PJ? Because when it was worth more than $25, to spend the $25 was nothing.
I hear you.
You get it? And that's how your customers are thinking. If I spend $25, that means I think this is more. No one spends what it costs. We spend what they tell us it costs, and in our heads, we're saying, all right, well, when I get there, I better at least get this. Please, I can't.
Let me poll you then, Antonio. Say you were able to come to the concert. You bought a ticket. You want to come. You want to hear this music. The concert is primarily all music. There'll be a few things said in between here and there, but it's music. It's entertainment, and then food, of course, following. So, what are you saying to yourself when you come in there that I better get out of this? If you know, and I think that I made an error by not allowing time for a small keynote in there to give a different kind of value. But a lot of these people, when they come to a concert, they don't want to be lectured to. They don't want to be taught directly. They want to have fun. So this is a fun event. So what better we give you for you to say, I'm glad I spent that $25?
First off, if you were to have a keynote at this, what I'm going to call a musical, there's no way you would convert me. It's just not, it's not going to happen. Right? It's just not going to happen because I didn't come here for that. I hate when they have the musicals and the preacher preaches after 3 hours of a musical. I find that so disrespectful, right? So you made a good call by not putting in the keynote. So I'm glad you followed your first instinct. Not only will I answer your question, I'm going to give you all of me in your question, all the me's, plural, okay? When I was young and dumb, PJ, somebody need to come home with me. Okay, let me let you know that I'm coming here because I'm just trying to tell you what it is, right? I'm coming here, PJ, because I need you to meet me or take me to some of these women's out there, right?
Right.
But some of her customers are thinking the same thing, and they ain't young and dumb no more. They old now, and they still young and dumb. You understand
very
what I'm saying?
old, very old, and very dumb.
There you go. There you go, right? So that was one me. I didn't care what the ticket cost. I cared about notch under my belt at night, or I'm trying to think of all the ignorant stuff. It's so hard to go back in that mindset, but you get what I'm saying, right? I cared about not being alone because my bed was lonely. So as long as I could have someone to occupy my space and make me forget that I made some bad decisions about my life, I cared about that more than the cost of your ticket. Is that real enough?
Yeah.
All right, good. Now, professional me. I'm coming, not this professional me, the younger professional me. I'm coming because I don't want a long-term relationship with you, the artist, or someone there, but I can assure you I'm getting somebody contact and they're going on my email list or whatever. Now, whether that be with you, the musicians, maybe I want these musicians at my thing. You know what I'm saying? But please know, every single thing professionally, PJ, is selfish. It has nothing to do with you. But think about what I just listed. Long-term relationship with her, the musician, or someone in the audience. Me. You understand what I'm saying? Me. All right. Now, I'm about 25 now. I got myself about 25 now. In my mid-30s, I'm rebuilding. Not mid-30s, excuse me. My 30s, I'm late 20s, 30s, I'm rebuilding. Now what I need is some financial partners willing to invest in me or mentor me. So now I'm buying your ticket because I have a need in my own life to attach, to be able to get someone, I need $500, man, could you mind, and I'll put this back to you. Probably won't work, but in my head, you can't tell me it won't work because I know what I need and I'm willing to go get it, right? You get it? Boom. Now, at this me, I have no need to go to your event whatsoever. None. So there is absolutely nothing that you can do for me at your event that would do anything for me. I live every last one of my dreams. I'm the hardest person to shop for on the birthdays. I have everything I want. One time, I think I said on this phone call, I had to reinvent my prayer life because prayer between most people, whether you want to admit it or not, is you praying because your resources can't handle the problem. Now get to the point of life when your resources force you almost not to pray. Think about it. I use a card or something to handle something, unless it's cancer. You get it? I can't do that. I don't need nothing. So there's no way you can get me to your event off a need. The way you get me to your event is I'm now thinking, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You get it? I don't know what I'm gonna need in the future, but every relationship I make, PJ, is intentional. Oh, shucks. I fear everybody's about to hear what I'm saying. The only reason I show up to PJ event is because I say, all right, she is somebody that I would like to be attached to. I don't know what I quite need yet, but when I come to you, I'm gonna need you to do the same thing I did for you. That's how you get me to your event, being a quality person I want to attach myself to. Any of that help you, PJ? That was like all 4 me's.
Well, there's so much on here, you know, come on now, this is like, yeah, everything, I'm writing notes, I'm making mental notes, I'm thinking, at the same time you're talking, I'm trying to figure out, so how do you verbalize some of this? Like when I go to market, it's like, do you go as overt as, whether it's online or it's in person? Because yes, we do think those thoughts, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I've even said to people, we should do, of course, the group economics thing in the community, more churches, more people, more community ought to support this event than they support that event. But that's a hard concept to get across sometimes too. They only think about my event, my event, my event. But when I advertise, can I say directly? That's the real me. If I were being authentic, but you're saying be good cop, don't be bad cop. So, it's hard for me to say, look, there's something in this for all of us. But I think they have to perceive me, back to the beginning of this training, they have to perceive our business as viable enough, having enough value enough that it's worth it to them to connect with us, to scratch my back so I can scratch their back. If they don't think I have any scratch to give, how you're not going to get that person to scratch your back.
Oh, of course not. Not if you're in my position. No, you wouldn't get me to scratch your back. In your case, you're sitting right in the middle of my target demographic. At the very least, I'm thinking 1 PJ equal 1,000 PJs, right? Then you're sitting right in the middle of my target demographic. The only thing you're missing, PJ, because you got this full understanding, is you don't dig deep. It's the only thing you're missing. The only thing you're missing, and I'll have Grace explain so it can sound, and I'll add on to it. Grace, what's the number one thing I tell y'all to do when y'all be missing the mark? And break it down for us.
When we're missing the mark, because I just asked Antonio something similar to this last week. He said, you don't need to improve, you just need to dig deep. And you need to, it goes back to what he's saying, you have to become what the customer needs. So you have to dig deep and continue to ask questions or even write about what things you can pick things out of what they said and dig deeper from what they said. So, Ms. PJ, if I'm selling tickets to you to my event, and I ask you, well, what is it? I see you're interested in coming to my event. It involves music. How long have you been interested in music? And then I'll just let you talk. And then if you say something, oh, I've been interested in music since I realized what music was at the age of 5, and you keep going and you keep going. Well, I'll pick something out of what you just said, and I'll say, well, Ms. PJ, when did you really know that music was, that you really had a love for music? And then I'll let you talk again. And so the more I dig deep, the more comfortable you get talking to me, because you're letting your guard down. You're getting more comfortable because I'm asking about you, and people love to talk about themselves.
Got it. Now, Grace, I have a question for Grace. So, Grace, do you ever find yourself in a position where, for whatever reason, whatever the circumstances, you've got a deadline, say, and you got a little time crunch, but you've got to dig deep. You got to go dig deep. You don't have a year to have those conversations, say, with let's say 1,000 people to get that 10%, you know, to show up that you want out of those 1,000 people. So what's the, what do you call it? The quick what's the quick approach when you don't have time? It's either volume, you're going for a lot of people, or we're going for quality over quantity. So if we don't have time to go for quantity, which is what I want, how can I condense that dig deep in a shorter period of time?
Yes, ma'am. I have been in that situation before, but even though it's a time crunch, you still want quality. And even though, you know, it is a time crunch, I can't force people off the phone, you know, and try and hurry because I've got to get to the next one. I still have to make them feel that they are the most important thing I'm doing all day. So I got to continue to dig deep. That's the only thing I know to do, because that's what I was taught.
No, but you're answering the question. But
thank you. Great
PJ,
answer.
I know what you're looking for, so I'm going to give it to you. PJ's looking for everything you just said, and she's looking for the last hour and 6 minutes summed up into a statement or two. Am I lying, PJ?
Absolutely. Bottom line.
I'm listening to for this answer.
I got you. I'm going to give you what I would say right now in your situation, and I've done it a few times, but I might do it more often. I come up to you and I say, hey, PJ, what would it take for me to get you to my event? Okay?
That's it. And then let them talk. They can talk for days then if they're willing to tell me. Yes.
Now, not only do I do that all the time, I actually did it 67 minutes ago. Let's rewind. I said, hey, guys, in fact, let me show you real quick, because sometimes people be thinking, you know, you're lying and stuff. Boom. Look, we was going to cover all this today. All this. And then right here. We're going to cover all that. But I asked, okay? I said, and I even said, I'm going to give you the Antonio T, the ATS blueprint. Remember I said all that? Yeah. I said that. And I said, but before I do, I really want to poll my audience. Did y'all hear me say that? Yeah. I said, I want to poll my audience. Here's what happened. PJ said something. I said, wow, okay. I didn't see that coming. No problem. And I start answering. I said, let me lay it out to you. 1, 2, 3, 4 real quick. And if you go back, I'll share my screen again. If you go back, I said, well, listen, I have it for you. I'm answering it for you, but I didn't want to sound like, since you asked it, that's actually. And I said, this is going to be the first thing I thought about. And I thought about it. It actually sound like I'm lying. So let me just go ahead and give it all 4 things. And all 4 things I wrote here. They're here. They were already here. You get what I'm saying? They were already here. You understand what I'm saying? And then I had Grace break it down a little bit more. So they were already written. I was already ready to roll. And then I asked the equivalent of, what would it take for this to be a good phone call for y'all? The same thing I'm asking PJ. What would it take for me to get you at this event? And then y'all talk, and not all of you. Y'all should have knew that I changed the class when I said this one statement. Okay, let's move forward. And any of you who choose to write down and participate, hopefully you get some. You're going to get a lot out of it. If not, you'll still get some out of it. Because I basically said, if you don't want to talk, I'm going to talk to the 3 active people talking right now. You understand what I'm saying? Now, PJ, that's no. And then I went. I pray y'all go rewind this recording, because nearly every time I've talked, since she's been the most vocal, I keep saying, PJ, do this. PJ, do that. I changed my presentation according to the best successful route for this phone call. I do it every time.
Well, I got another question for you. Thank you too for that, Antonio. And I've seen you do this before, and I like that when you do that. and that's why sometimes I just sit back and listen, because the energy is with somebody else to get what you got that day, because they're speaking up. So I'll sit back and listen. So I decided to just jump on in there today.
That's good.
A little bit off track, but hopefully not too far. So, and I don't want to sound technologically ignorant here, but I'm just going to go for it. When we talk about reaching the masses, the global masses, the internet people, the world.
You're right.
So, so we got our fan pages and we have our personal pages. I'm okay. I have all that. I got my YouTube. I got my platform set up. So say I want to reach the masses. Is the only way you do that is with ads. You put an ad on Facebook, you put an ad on your whatever social platform you are. So is that reaching, quote unquote, I know you got to target your destination, but just say for generalities, the world. Say I want to reach, 4 different cities in my surrounding area. I know I picked them.
Yeah.
But am I reaching all the internet people out there if I put an ad out there? Can I safely assume that I'm marketing to the world within what I specified if I do that?
Right, gotcha. I love the way you said the internet people. Like it's some fake people out there. I love that. like you're on the plane. Don't put ants down there, right? Just give me some money, right? I love that. No, yes, the answer to your question is yes, you can. And the reason why you buy ads is because you would be controlling traffic. Remember. Now, you'll hear me. The reason I repeat stuff that comes from different classes is because I understand it's new concepts to you and you catch it, but you don't catch all of it. So I keep repeating it. There's 3 types of traffic in this world: digital or not digital. Traffic you do not control. Traffic you do not control. That's number 1. Traffic you do control. That's number 2. And traffic you own. So the reason why you would buy ads, PJ, for those internet people is because you don't want not to control them. You want to control them, to funnel them, to own them. Did that make sense real quick? I want to make sure. Did you get that, PJ?
Yes.
And I see your hand up, Denise. Okay,
yes,
good.
Yes.
So if we want to take them from I control you, now I own you. That's why you buy ads. But her question was, is that the only way? So I've just answered why you do it. But the reason I gave, let's repeat it. You don't want stuff you don't control, yes? I want to control you and then own you. That's the concept here, PJ. And that's why it doesn't take buying ads to do that when you understand what you're doing when you buy ads. Can you think of other ways to control people to own them? I'll give you an example. The media does it to you every day. It's called fear. They peddle and market fear. You understand? Like, you do know that there's more news than school shootings and mass shootings. Like, there is more news. This is 7.2 billion people, and the only news you have is to scare me into a blue or a red? But what they're doing without buying ads is they're controlling you so they can own you. Now, in order for you to get the best news, how do they own you? You go watch their station because they feed your fear the way you want it to be fed. Are you getting what I'm saying, PJ? Because you asked a brilliant question.
Is Antonio, is in your opinion,
Yep.
Is hope still sellable? Is it as
Absolutely.
sellable as fear?
Yes, and that was your original question you asked from the very beginning. When y'all go back and rewind this, the very first thing she said was, I'm noticing I can fill up a room if it was a tragedy. I don't want nobody to die. Remember, I'm an active listener. I'm listening to everything she's saying, and I'm memorizing it because it's important to me, right? That's the first thing she said. Absolutely. As long as you have a Joel Osteen, a Ellen DeGeneres, and Oprah Winfrey out there, you can always believe in selling hope. You get it? Now, I don't mean to disrespect anybody by saying that. I'm just saying the tone of hope is always marketable, is what I'm attempting to say here, right? I don't mean any disrespect to Pastor Olsen and his ministry or what anybody else is doing. I'm just saying the tone of hope is always marketable. You don't have to hurt people to control that. I don't have a tone of hope. A tone of hurt. I have a tone of hope. It's intense, but it's still saying, you want to win? Come follow me. And I fill out seats. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I do sold out events. It's very rare I don't do a sold out event. Very rare. My sold outness is at 97% maybe. And I sell hope. I'm glad she asked that question. So when you know all you're doing is controlling and then pushing to where you own, that's the win-win. And you can do that without money. You can do that without money. A pretty girl gets on Instagram, gets half naked. She's now controlling who looks at her. Okay? And then she sells ads on her Instagram or her own products, vitamins, t-shirts, etc. And she puts her own product out. Okay? She puts a t-shirt out with side boobs showing, no disrespect. You right? I'm just, and perkiness or whatever. How many t-shirts do you think she's going to sell? She controlled with her body and then owned them with her product. That was free. You hear what I'm saying? Like, I need y'all to get this. Like, I mean, no disrespect, and no, I don't mean to be derogatory to anybody, but that was a fact. You can buy ads without buying ads. I call it a human sales funnel. Now let's pause real quick because this is getting real good. Denise, let me hear you. Who got a question? Okay, good. Denise, let me hear from you because I think you're going to add even more value here. I think. See if your phone muted, Denise. You're unmuted, but I think your phone may be muted or your microphone may not be connected. Okay. All right, hit star 6 because you definitely unmuted yourself. Tell you what, disconnect, come right back in. As soon as you come back in, the question's on you no matter where we at. And because I'm looking forward to what you got to say. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what you got to say. She always has something great to say. Yeah, she's trying. I can see it. We can see you trying, but it's not coming in. So when she comes back in, when her audio gets fixed, we're going to let her go right on. Now, control. PJ's question is probably it ranks in the top 5 of brilliant questions asked all year. Can I do this? Well, it's 2 of them now. She got 2 brilliant questions. Can I fill seats without a tragedy? And can I control people without buying them? Yes. You don't have to buy people to control them. A politician. Name me one. No, because you can now. There's only 2 politicians. Well, you can. It's only right now. There's only one politician's message. There's one. We're talking about data, okay? There's only one politician's message that's. Nope, I just ruled him out. Never mind. There's not a single politician. I tried to save him. There's not a single politician right now that is not saying, I'm the one that can get it and I'm the only choice you actually have. So every politician is doing that. That's fear. They're buying you from fear. That's a politician's job. The politician's job is to create lack for you and show you their scarcity. And in that scarcity, your only hope, PJ, is to vote for me. Get it? They're controlling you without buying you. Denise, I'm ready.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I had 2 questions. One of them is from a ways back, so I apologize. I was kind of in and out.
Oh, no worries.
The first one is centered around PJ, though. I consider myself a PJ follower and fan. But, with anyone when it comes to, and it could just be a church thing, I don't know, but when it comes to somebody asking you to support them and the brand that you know them for versus something that sounds like they're simply endorsing, the level of support becomes different. So like if you look for you, PJ, like knowing that you're a transformation coach, a Juneteenth concert seems like it's not a PJ event from the outside looking in. my perspective. So
does
that make sense? So it's like, you know, am I supporting you or am I supporting them because you asked me to? And then the level of, you know, connectivity just kind of changes when it's there.
That's a real good point. That's a real good point. Wow. That's so good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because the answer, Denise, there's an answer. The answer is both. The answer is both. At the beginning, somewhere on one of these calls, I think I alluded to why I'm doing this, but not the only reason. I'm doing it twofold. Because PJ is a supporter of the community, and PJ is a supporter of the work of the Lord, and PJ is a supporter of a church in trouble. However, PJ has learned that PJ has to promote her own business as well. PJ has to find her congregation and get herself out there as well. So I am doing this twofold. And I don't want to get all spiritual and carrying on, but I have to say this quickly. I have to say this quickly that initially I was going to do an event just for myself, just for TNT, and have it women's empowerment, you know, all the things we do as life coaches and women primarily. However, I felt the Lord said to me, go ahead and help the church, this particular church, do the event and help them out. But at the same time, you're still putting TNT out there. I'm doing this as the event coordinator of TNT, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a collaborative effort, Denise, at this point in time. Will I do it again? I can't answer that right now. I had a plan where I was going to do even a bigger one after this if we raised the money from this to the big event and bring in a celebrity where we could attract a lot more. And there's a venue that had the seats to hold it. But just, that's a whole nother story. But after analyzing this, I'm not sure I want to take that on, and that my next event won't be for myself. It all depends how these people conduct themselves and how they show up at this event, etc. So without rambling further, the bottom line, Denise, is I'm doing it for me, very much so for me and my business and my legacy and all the things we're learning here, but I'm also doing it for a greater purpose, because I believe that helping others and sowing the seeds out there are going to come back to me if I do the right thing. And I consider this one of those right things to do. I don't know if that, I hope that.
No, that's a great answer. Again, I'm pretend I don't really know you. I'm just a PJ fan on the outside looking in. That narrative hasn't gotten to me as a consumer.
Exactly. That's I'm so glad you brought it up. Remember at the very beginning of the class, I said I'm gonna give it the 4 things PJ need to do. The last one was perception over impression. Yeah. PJ just gave us a great impression, but the perception of what she's doing hasn't reached the consumer, like Denise is saying. Keep going, Denise, because you got some good feedback.
I mean, that was it for PJ. Like I would support PJ for anything, but a random church that I don't know, I probably wouldn't. So, I mean, if you came and told me, man, this like it hasn't been billed as a PJ event in any capacity. My life, if I know you as a transformation coach, how is my life going to change about this? You know what I mean? And Antonio talks all the time about us putting out so much content. Like if every day you just drop something about how my life can change and then tie in, you know, meet me at this event so that you can have more life change or something, then the dots are connected for me as a consumer, and I can see, even though I'm in DC, you're in Connecticut, I won't be able to be there. I would be like, man, somebody has to be there.
That's good.
That's awesome feedback. That's awesome, Denise. And let me say this, because
high quality.
A lot of us are on that line and on that bridge between the church and the world in our businesses and in our personal lives. A lot of us are there. Here's a double-edged sword with that. And I welcome all the feedback I can get. Your church community oftentimes will say, oh, she's just, if I pump it up too much in my direction and what I do in my life coach, oh, she's just doing this for her own aggrandizement. She's just doing this to get money for herself. And why should I trust that? She should be doing this for the Lord. She shouldn't even be charging us anyway. Blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. Then,
yeah, all that's poverty. Every last bit of that's poverty.
but what I'm saying is I have two audiences I'm addressing, and I hear you, Denise, loud and clear, and I'm going to try to work on that for my other audience to give them more of what I'm really about. But I don't want to stand up and say, I'm doing this to put myself out there too. So I have to find language in a way to market that I am doing this for TNT.
I don't think the church is your market for it's a Juneteenth event. That's Black folks and freedom from slavery. That's anybody with who cares about that culture. That's your audience. I mean, if you try to appease church folk, I mean, none of us will get started on. Let's not get started. But I just don't think that's your audience, which is why you're finding the resistance.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Denise, you and I already know. I think you're one of the best coaches in the world. Thank you so much.
She
so
most
much.
certainly is.
But I still have holes, and my other question was for me.
Okay, well, hold on before you get to your other question. Denise, can you, in your best expertise, and make sure you don't forget your question, because I don't think anyone realized why I cut the pastor, I cut the church. You will see now this year it comes back in little doses, right? Little manageable doses. But why do you think that I am not known for pastoring? I am known for business. Denise, in your best expert guess, why would I have to just completely homicide that that wasn't even spiritual, that religious set part of what I was to what I do now?
No clue if this is the right answer, but those folks are already indoctrinated into something. They're not open to receiving anything else.
That's better than what I could have answered it, right? And you know who else recognized this? And I love being a marketer. I'm not just a marketer. I love having this marketing gift that I have, because something is boom right in everybody's faces. And I guess only people like me or Denise would get it, because we kind of got this Hollywoodness about us. It's not in Hollywood. TD Jakes. If you pay attention to TD Jakes, he is getting out the church. If you pay attention, he getting into fashion for sure. Him and Kanye West have their own clothing lines together, right? But he's got a new TV show. He's got this. He doesn't call it coaching. He calls it something else, but it means coaching. You understand? Yeah, he's doing everything he can to get to that 99% of the audience. Denise, have you picked up on that with his moves? I don't know how much you follow him.
Oh yeah, him and Dr. Phil are in cahoots to kind of complement each other.
He even did a video. He's got something on YouTube where he explained that that's what he's doing. He said the movie companies and whatever, and that he's not a one pony show, and that he's got other talent, and that you can be in the church and still be a businessman, and da-da-da-da-da, and that's what he's going to do.
There you go. Fantastic. I didn't even know that video existed, but that's an indoctrinated thinking. And now, PJ said it fine, indoctrinated thinking. I mean, PJ, Denise, it's calcified thinking. We can spiritualize all we want to. Those are closed-minded people. Let's just call a spade what a spade is. It's closed-minded people. And I understood that I was in the business of open-minded people, and I had to slash what was closed-minded. You get it? Now the members I attract are open-minded members. You get it? All right, cool. Denise, what's your second question?
Okay, so you were talking about we have to train our audience to, this was what you were saying right at the beginning, right? So what if you've been spending time, decades, already training an audience, but maybe you're confused about what you've trained them to do? Maybe you thought you were training them in one direction. Like, how do you identify what you've already trained your existing audience to do?
Yeah, I did that. I personally did that. And I I did that twice, Denise. And one I recovered. No, in both I recovered. So I'm okay. I did that in the church and I did that in business at the same doggone time. Denise, I'm from the South, Texas. And there's a certain way to do black preaching down here in the South. Okay. Certain way. You understand. Ain't nobody, all that good stuff. You understand? Anyway, there's a certain way to close down here. And I recognized, man, I got this big old crowd of people I don't want to deal with. I'm just keeping it real. I recognize that my message, right, my style of preaching, my message, the marketing coming out of my mouth was attracting a crowd I necessarily didn't want as my customer. Fair enough. In business, I came out real hard and heavy coaching. Real hard and heavy coaching as a one-on-one coach. Get coaching for me. That's what I did. And I got filled up, Denise. So yep, I got murdered because I don't know how to hoop. Yeah. Oh, I can holler. Well, let me tell you, I started E flat, finished with A sharp. But anyway, in business, I started coaching one-on-one coaching to the point where I don't know, shucks, I had 20-something clients. That's a lot for one-on-one coaching. It's a lot. When I first got to Les Brown Camp, I was just disbanding that coaching thing. I went into Les Brown with 43 people I was coaching. I went into Les Brown with 43 people I was coaching. I remember because I said it on film and I watched the film the other day. Now, that's the first time I actually met Denise too. That was a mistake because I don't like one-on-one coaching, Denise. I don't. So I charge so much for it because I hate a lot of stuff that comes with it, right? And I hate losing and I hate losers. I'd rather coach, world leaders. You know what I'm saying? People at the way top. And I messed up twice. Now, how did I fix it? I had to lose first on both of them. I do apologize if that's not the answer you want to hear. I had to absolutely lose first. How did I have to lose? Once I shifted my direction, 30 to 40% of those people left on both sides, period. Because they were there for the gravy or they were there for that one-on-one coaching. So when I start putting them in a Zoom call on small coaching, they would say things like, well, I just want that intimacy that we had, right? And this is guys talking, right? I had a guy call me call Deanna yesterday, the day before, like, man, listen, I respond to one-on-one coaching. I'm like, bruh, that costs a lot of money. You understand what I'm saying? So we came to some happy medium. I just don't do it. I can, but I'd rather tell you Denise is the greatest coach in the world, in which I've seen her coach. She's incredible. She's absolutely incredibly gifted. So here's what you do. The first thing you got to do, Denise, is you have to, here's what I did, and it worked. I'll say that. I want to tell you what you to do. Here's what I did. First thing I did was I told everybody what I was doing now. Told everybody what I was doing. Don't say now. I told everybody that's important. That's important. I told everybody what I was doing. Remember, people don't know what they want until you tell them. I notified everybody I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? I did not say, and I hate when people do this on Facebook or something. Hey, everybody, new business opening. Hey, everybody, new direction. No, this ain't new. This is what I'm doing. I've been doing it. I've been podcasting. My name is Neetil. I've been podcasting. For real? How long? Years. I was podcasting before podcaster was out. You know what I'm saying? The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I just started podcasting because, nope, I've been podcasting. LeBron went to the Lakers. I've been a Lakers fan. That's a lie. But you can't tell me nothing. I've been a Lakers fan. You understand what I'm saying? Because the last thing, this is number 2 now. You do not apologize to people. You do not do it. You make a mistake, you got to clear your throat. You got to have a 10-second silence because you drank some water on the keynotes. You do not go, sorry, y'all. Nope. You notify people, and you do not apologize. Old lady taught me this. Say, anything you admit to, anything you acknowledge, you admit to. Hey, man, you slept with Denise? What kind of question? Man, get that question away from here, man. What are you talking about? See that? Watch this. Hey, man, you slept with Denise? Oh, man, what you mean you slept with Denise? It sounds different, don't it? Yeah. Interesting. Yes. Yes. If you acknowledge it, it renews on your credit report in 7 years, right? You get it. It's not the case, but you get the point I'm making. You tell people what you're going to do, and then I told people I'm not in the church. I did. I told people, well, of course I have my scholar's degrees. I was a scholar, but I told people I'm a scholar. I told people I write books. These type of people typically don't hoop and holler. Then when people said, why are you not hollering no more? I went, what do you mean? See, I didn't acknowledge it. I went, what do you mean? Did you get the word? All right, good. I never answered that question. Notify. Do not apologize. Jay-Z's 40-40 club did not work. You don't know nothing about that. You understand what I'm saying? You don't know nothing about that. You only put your winnings out. And then eventually people are going to go, yeah, Denise been podcasting. Denise been a provider. You have been a provider. You have been podcasting. If you was on somebody else's podcast, that's when you started podcasting. You know what I'm saying? If you talked on a talk boy, a talk girl, and recorded some stuff, if you picked up a cassette, if you casted anything, you've been podcasting. And I hope all of y'all hear that. I'm pounding this answer because it is very important. Because when you have to switch directions, you don't tell nobody you switching directions. It's the worst thing to do. You know why it's the worst thing to do? I'll give you the term for it. Y'all use it all the time, and it's actually a very bad term. Rebrand. Y'all use it all the time. When you tell me you must rebrand, you tell a professional, especially a professional marketer, it's so blown up, you have to start over. R. Kelly needs to rebrand, doesn't he? And if your situation ain't R. Kelly's situation, you don't need to rebrand. And if you switch, what if I tell you the God you serve switched directions? What? He didn't know what he was doing the whole time? All right. Denise Hill has been doing what she's been doing the whole time. PJ has been doing what she's doing the whole time. And PJ, if you don't sell 500 tickets, you move everybody to the front of that room. You get the film there, and the people, okay, the people who there, you don't say nothing. You pick up 300 of them chairs. No, let's see. If 200 people show up, you put 150 chairs out. If you can't move the chairs, you feel me? If you can't move the chairs, you say, we sold this event so successfully that the hotel sponsored us this room at the last minute, so now we have more space.
Movie theater seating. Can't move any seats.
Okay.
Can't move the seats.
Can't move no seats, but check it out. We sold this event so successfully that they gave us this movie theater room at no extra cost, just so y'all can have a better experience, so the music can sound better. I'm telling you. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is. Even more concisely for Denise. You switch, but you don't switch. You say, this is what I'm doing. I've been dominating over here, and you better get like me. If that don't make sense to you, how many of you have logged on to Facebook this year and they upgraded and didn't tell you? They changed something. Come on, let me hear from you. Did they change on you and they didn't tell you? Yeah, they switched direction. They said these like buttons ain't good no more. Let's make them 3D. But I don't want to make a post and tell everybody they're 3D and they wasn't good. We're just going to put it out there as an upgrade. Yeah, I just upgraded. It's the most valuable advice I can possibly give to you. Because people won't know to buy from Denise until she say, you better buy from me. You feel what I'm saying? You ain't switching. You's in a dying business, but you ain't dying. A dying industry, I should say. You're not dying. You been saw this coming, and which she did. All right, let me hear back from you, Denise. We're gonna add some more value here.
No, that was good. That was good stuff. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Sweet. There it is. There it is. Appreciate you. Seriously, y'all, stop making people look at your weaknesses with your system. But Denise herself, she needs to show weaknesses on purpose. Denise can show infallibility, not infallibility, that's not weakness at all. Fallibility, she can show finiteness, but her system cannot. If Denise is perfect, nobody's going to follow her. They're going to hate that. They're going to do everything they can to take her down. If her system is perfect, they're going to do everything they can to buy into that system. That was way up there. I wish I could see our faces because I know I just said something.
Well, you can't see my face at the moment because that's a shame. I'm still not dressed for the day. But because I got caught up in your classes as usual. But I want to ask, what's my system? What's my system?
Yeah, that's what you need to. You probably need to build a stronger system. But Denise, your own consumer, said your system is transformation. Now you want to come up with a great system around that transformation that makes you stand out from other transformers. But clearly, you're.
Are you saying so? System and brand are basically same thing, kind of the same thing?
Sure,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now the system is more powerful. Well, they are the same thing because they're not related, but they're married. They're one and the same. They're husband and wife that have joined to become one. Your system is something you want duplicatable if you're selling that system like I do, or you want to be able to plug people in it, go to Tahiti, drink a beer with me, come back and you made more money a month later, right? That's a system. Get it? Like my system, I don't even have to remind you all Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, we're doing this. The system runs itself. Y'all show up, right? The system, and then you borrow from that system and you start the Bureau of Dominant Speakers, which has 100% customer satisfaction rate, which I still can't believe. That's insane. I can't. I'm looking for someone to complain. They won't complain, right? It's insane. It's the first time I've ever done that. But do you understand what I'm saying? That's the system. The reason why it's married to branding, because R. Kelly could have a great system right now. Are you going to go to it? The Catholic Church, let's not use Catholic Church. The church itself, that's Catholics, Protestants together. Okay, we want to sing out one people. Have a great system. Still losing members. You understand what I'm saying? Because the brand is off. Biggest bank in the world, Catholic Church. We don't even know the numbers. Biggest real estate owner in the world, Catholic Church. It's crazy. And they own prime real estate in every continent on planet Earth. They don't just own real estate. They own, imagine going to Venice. Like they own prime real estate. You understand what I'm saying? But check it out. Brands all messed up because church folk is crazy, right? So that's why it's tied together. You can go ahead.
Is it too simplistic to say that the system is the delivery method for how you give to your consumers a particular brand? Is that too simplistic?
Nah, I think that's spot on. I think that's spot on. Now you want to put some muscles on that simplicity, right? You want to have your business system for. Can your current business system take on 10,000 new customers? And now, if you don't want 10,000 new customers, you don't need to. Bentley doesn't want 10,000 new customers, right? But Bentley can handle 2,000 new customers in that system, maybe just not where they get their products from. You feel me? Can you handle right now, Denise, now you have to answer this question out loud, 10,000 new customers? If that's the case, then you have a business system that is as simple as you said, but it has muscles on it, right? It can contain the influx and the customer quality and the customer service quality, and you're not breaking your software. You understand what I'm saying? Like right now, if we had 1,000 people on this phone call, I could handle it, but I couldn't handle 1,001. It just wouldn't. I would have people saying, "I'll call," but I couldn't get in. While that is a good thing, because you're creating fear of missing out, that wasn't the plan with this product. Right? I need to have the public missing out, not y'all. Y'all need to get in so the public can miss out. It's also why I changed this. Those of you who see me live, this costs differently now. This costs a high dollar a month. You have to be paying a high monthly fee for this to be out, for you to get on this call. Now, why would I do that, Denise? Why would I make this call exclusive now and make it cost to get in here?
To control the flow of the consumer, so that you don't have that multiplicity of people who aren't invested in the product.
That's right. That's right. And you know why? Because I would get a bunch of low level of awareness questions and it would kill the product.
Oh, it would devalue the product.
It would completely devalue the product. Y'all been with me long enough to ask brilliant questions, because you go home, you actually work on your business, and you get stumped, and you got to come back with a question, right? They haven't. Y'all been with me over years now. Denise, in some case, 3 years. So you get it, right? So now, so the people who don't have access to this, they watch y'all and y'all famous. Your names keep popping up. So when they see you in public, they're like, oh man, you've been one asking a really good question. You're PJ, so good to meet you. I've been watching. I went to the freshman level. You get it? Because I knew I had to bring in an influx of customers, but I also knew the problem with that is you damage the product when you do. So I saved the product by making this exclusive. That's the business system. You get it? It's exactly what Denise said, but I put muscles on it by showing you I improved it. I improved the simplicity of it. You feel me? Did that help you, Denise, even more?
Yep, thank you.
There you go, right? PJ, what about you?
One last question.
Now, come
Hopefully.
on.
Everything you said, absolutely. I got it all down. I got to work it all out, but I got it all down. Why is this brand messed up, in your opinion? I asked that question only to help me with my marketing to counteract why the brand is messed up. So what about the brand being messed up? Can I counteract in my marketing for transformation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You absolutely can. And this is where you take y'all not going to like this answer, okay? You're just not going to like this answer at all. You knew when she asked the question? Okay. Okay. You're not going to like this answer, but this is business, yes?
Yes.
This is business. All right. business. This is where you take what I call the Absalom approach, but you don't take it too far. Okay, Absalom, and since we're talking church perspective, I'll give you a church answer, and Liddell's gonna love this Bible study we're about to have. In 2 Samuel, there's a guy named David. You may have heard of him. He defeats Goliath way earlier, and he's just pretty cool king, guys. After his deity's own heart, he does a pretty good job. Peace on all sides. Well, peace is on sides because he's killing people left and right, but nevertheless. And he has this son that wants his kingdom. And for 2 years, his son stood outside the courts. This is actually in that sacred text. Stood outside the courts and did this here, PJ. Oh, he judged your case that way? I wouldn't have did it that way. I would have did it this way. Okay? That's what he did. That's what he did. Remember I said, but don't take it too far, and I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do this with keeping your morals together, right? Without playing the bad seat. Hey, he said that you shouldn't get that much land. I would have gave you all the land you asked for. Sure would have. Yep, I sure would have. Sure, and did it for 2 years. And the text says he did it for 2 years, to the point where the whole people said, "Absalom, you need to be king." He convinced these people to make him king, and he did. He took his father's throne by force. Of course, his dad wouldn't fight back, so he fled the city. He didn't kill any of his men, but Absalom did do some killing, right? His men, and then of course the throne would be restored, but blah blah blah. It was actually let's not get into the Bible study part, right? But yes, you get it. Now, that's brilliant. That is 1,000,000,000% brilliant. No different than the brilliance of Donald Trump and half the crazy stuff he be doing. It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. It is one flaw that I would tell you that Obama did not have. That Obama had. When Obama fixed the healthcare system, he should have bragged all about it. But he was too humble, right? Can you imagine if when Trump fixed one thing, he tweets about it, he gets on the news and he talks about it, right? He takes credit for other people's stuff. That's brilliant. Doesn't matter if you think he's lying. You ain't voting for him. He's not trying to turn you. He's trying to put another narrative out there to confuse you. His narrative is an invisible barrier between you and his voters. That's brilliant. You understand what I'm saying? Absalom was brilliant. He put an invisible barrier between the king's people and the people. Pay attention. I'm going to talk slow. This is where you should pay attention. He put an invisible barrier with a different narrative between the one who was in power and forced the customers to say, PJ, you be our leader.
Oh, no.
That's brilliant, right? Exactly.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
no.
I won't do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
right?
no.
Yes. Absalom he didn't keep it in his pants the way he should have. He did a few things crazy. But David had some other sons that literally did some other rape. I'm looking at this question in chat, but that was different, and Tamar got caught up in that. But do you see the brilliance of taking a narrative that's already out there and going against that narrative secretly, one by one, and reprogramming people's minds until they think it's their idea to go with you. All right. Okay, here's how you do this with morals. So I'm going to be blatant. I'm going to talk about the church. So that's her question's coming from the church. The church is pushing away all sorts of generations, okay? It's old-fashioned. It won't change. Take all the bad things that they're saying, okay? I mean, no disrespect. We got a pastor on right now, okay? Like, no disrespect, nobody, but remember, I always tell you, I go look at the one-star reviews. If people are complaining about the church, those are one-star reviews. Take those reviews and build a system around it. And every time, you're going to love this, PJ, you hear, oh, that sounds like this review I heard. You're going to tailor your presentation to the system that fixed that 1-star review. Oh, come on, y'all. I'm getting excited because I know that y'all know, I know you know this, but you don't even know you know this because I put in your head this. I had to, but it had to be your idea. I had to because I had already had this started. Then I had to put it on hold. It used to be called Plant Better University. It's what it used to be called. Right now, Plant Better University is the product in it. I had Plant Better University before I ever joined a camp. You understand what I'm saying? Then things went sour and people started thinking I had something to do with it. I couldn't have that, but I can't go up here and say, hey, destruction of this legacy. That's stupid. I would never do that, right? That's wrong. That's wrong. And when you talk bad about people, the people you talking bad to about them, they looking at you like, yeah, that's why I'm not following you either. Because you're talking about them, right? Yeah. Like, I hear you, but please know I'm not going to buy from you, right? You're going to so I couldn't do that either. What I had to do is I had to say, yeah, pay attention to this. I haven't said it in so long. It's been almost a year since I said it, but it was a promotive narrative a year ago. All of you are going to remember it too. That's why I want to be on every call, because people feel that the celebrity should be on the calls. You ain't heard me say it in a long time. But remember, I used to push that narrative. Denise, do you remember this? I used to push that narrative. I'm going to be on every call. I'm doing every call. Remember, I had to. Because you know what the number one complaint was? Why I can't get trained and why I can't, when she, right? That was why I'm not getting my money's worth. I had to Absalom effect. I did. And I really, 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 really want you to pay attention to this. Because I didn't do it with incorrect motives. I didn't talk about nobody. I just had to cast my narrative so much that it created this invisible barrier between me and them. You get it? I had people like PJ watching me for like 2 years. PJ, so
listen, I'm still waiting to see and make sure Les Brown don't come from behind that screen. No. I'm sorry.
Look, come right from behind the screen, go, boom, here I am. We got all y'all money, right? Like, no, but you get it. And that's very important. Denise is going to have to do it with her industry. Y'all feel me? Mm-hmm. PJ's going to do it with her industry. Liddell, who is a pastor, I hope he can, I don't know if he probably teaching body study right now. If you can unmute your mic real quick, Liddell, he probably teaching somebody, doing some community service, something. But Pastor Liddell himself, while in the church, has to create an invisible barrier between his church and how people perceive the church. Please, you unmuted, Liddell, you there?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Have you ever met any regular person that knew the difference between the Catholic Church and your church? No. The answer is no. No. So every time a Catholic priest gets in trouble for some pedophilia, they're putting that on Liddell's church.
Everybody.
You understand? Every time a preacher sleeps with a secretary, they're putting it on Liddell's church. So do you understand that he has to create that invisible barrier between what he's preaching and how people perceive the whole industry? Liddell, before we hang up, give us one way that you're currently doing that right now.
Ask the question one more time.
Give us one way how you're currently separating yourself, your church from your members, from the potential members' perception of what the church is.
Oh, that's funny you say that, man. My son called me the other day and he was cracking up. And we had an oil shop and he was there and he said, "Daddy, you'll never believe what somebody asked me." I'm like, "What's happening?" There's a girl I went to school with. He's 24 years old. And she was like, "I want to come to your dad's church. I've been hearing a lot about it, but I don't know if I want to start a business yet." Because what she heard was, as soon as people hit that church, they begin to be entrepreneurs and do a lot of different things that the church world doesn't understand. So the narrative that's different with us is that we lead you to your destiny. So what's been happening, we've been getting a lot of people that visit from other churches secretly because they see there's a difference in the people that come out of that.
That's powerful. So your problem right now is people know that if they come to you, they got to level up.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
You know who else got that problem? Denise, unmute your mic real quick. How many times have you run into the problem that if they come to you, they got to level up and actually pay?
Yeah.
like they have to actually pay Denise, and this is like a big barrier, right? Is this a barrier for you, Denise? Not that she's not getting paid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying these people know they come from one area, they come to her, and she's like, "Oh, that's $325 an hour."
Yeah.
Because Denise is top quality.
I use that 30-minute free consultation way too many times, I think. She's top quality, but she presents herself because it's her natural self. Even though it's great marketing, it's not her being inauthentic though. Okay, I want to clearly say that. I have great respect for Denise. She presents herself as the girl next door. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She's the girl next door that you can drink a beer with, work out with, or she can put on some red heels and kill the stage, right? She can do all that stuff. You got some memes that say, "Get you a woman that can do both." That's Denise, right? So she presents herself as, "Oh, I don't charge," but her quality is so quality that of course she's charging. So Liddell and Denise have the same problem, and that problem is, "Oh, I'm sorry. When you come to me, you got to level up, right?" Duh. I'm not them. Is that fair, Denise? Absolutely.
You can't come to me without getting. Yeah, you can't come to Denise without getting no homework for the next week. We just gonna talk for an hour.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh, please.
I believe that's what's going on with Miss PJ. I think that's the same kind of thing as her. She's kept herself. She keep trying to low price herself or discount herself for people who are not gonna pay anyway.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You leave me. I was trying to type a question, but I can't type it fast enough. How do I present myself as a level up? And Liddell, I welcome your feedback too, because a lot of people give concerts in church. A lot of people give fundraiser concerts in church. Yada, yada, yada. How do I present myself as I'm a level up concert? I'm a level up entrepreneur. I'm a level up person versus the other person who put on a slam banging concert as well. And we both were doing fundraisers.
Can I do it, Antonio?
Please.
Kind of lose the mentality of fundraiser.
That's good.
Change your mindset to business. But the thing that you got to remember is the church usually follows the world. That's the way their mind is set up. So you go after the world first, and you do what you got to do for the world, and the church will peep in the window until they finally believe.
Let me tell you what I know.
I'm sorry.
Good stuff. Denise, let me hear from you. I know you got something to say.
Was good. That was good.
That was great. That was on point.
That was good.
On point.
Oh my God.
On point for real. PJ, I want your next concert or whatever you do to cost $100. I want the next one to cost $100, and then make that early bird. And if they don't pay $100 by a certain day, then you know what? They got to pay $250.
Believe it or not, Antonio, I downgraded. 15 years ago, I did a concert, $100. I'm downgraded this year to hopefully sell more tickets faster, and it isn't working. So I hear you.
Absolutely.
I hate to. Can I jump in?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But, I mean, it's like what Antonio was just talking about with devaluing your product. If you drop from 100 to 25, all $100 people who were considering are now like, well, you know what, forget it. And the $25 people who were never going to really be your client to begin with aren't purchasing. So, I mean, you've got to, the problem isn't, I love what Liddell said about fundraising. The problem to me isn't that word fundraising, is that you try to use that word with the wrong audience. Because if you had a lot of, high-minded professionals who are in the philanthropy community, they'd have absolutely no problem. But you went after folks who don't even have that in their vocabulary.
I got one more thing. They messing with me.
Go ahead.
Well, we did our church, Ms. PJ and everybody. We have the church, it's Next Level Christian Church. But I started seeing that people don't like to give from church to church. My other church, I give to other churches.
Right.
A lot of other churches will not give from the First Baptist to the Second Baptist. They're not going to give.
Amen.
So what we did, we created a non-religious nonprofit. We created a non-religious nonprofit.
Sure did.
When they hear, okay, that is called Higher Grounds Community Development. So when a city hears Higher Ground Community Development, they will give to that. All churches would give to that. All people would give to that. But if they hear Next Level is doing something, it's a blockage in our mind that says I cannot help that other church. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, that was brilliant. Boy, that not only was that brilliant, Deanna, did you hear that? Can you write that down and so we can implement that in our church right now? Can we do that? That was good. That was
and
good.
just that language opens you up to so much more funding, because the government will give you money, the county will give you money.
That's it. That's the plan.
Yes, it's like changing it from a liquor store to wine and spirits.
What?
It's the same, let me tell you.
Yep. You so right. She ain't lying. Okay, remind me to come back to the liquor part secondly. Liddell, can you repeat that? Deanna needs to take notes, and she wants you to repeat it, because that was the most brilliant thing said.
Yes.
What we did, we separate. Like right now, we go into the schools. I showed y'all when y'all came down. We go into the schools and we mentor. But we don't mentor under Next Level Christian Church. We mentor under Higher Grounds Community Development Committee. So when people see that, they never even know it's a church behind it. So you have to drop the pride of wanting your church to be known. You got to drop that pride of wanting your church name to be. They don't know my church name. You got to drop that because nobody's going to give from church to church. It's a silent little thing that's just not going to happen. So people are hearing. Under our Higher Ground, we have a thing called Generation Yes. That's our outreach to the schools. And then under that, we have a name called Kingdom Life. That's where we go around and help people that's underprivileged, houses falling apart. We send people in. So when we go get funding, we don't get funding under Next Level Christian Church. We get funding under Higher Grounds Community Development Committee.
You do that? I need me a name by 3 o'clock. Run that. Right? That was good. Did y'all hear that? God dog it, that was so good. I'm so glad that I was obedient to the energy and just let y'all keep going. That was so good. It's some more out there. Denise, I'm calling Denise. Denise and PJ own it today. They just brought out Liddell. Liddell don't do no talking. He likes to sit back and watch. Yeah, he likes to sit back and watch. Denise, let me hear something brilliant from you. Come on, you got something up
I'm
in that
done.
big old head. You
Liddell
done?
made me
Okay.
tap out. I'm tapped out.
Well, Denise taught me something this week. Oh, go back to the wine and spirits. That's right. I'm really close. I've been learning how to, for the last 3 years, how to brew vodka. I started a vodka company. It's not out yet. We call them the girls around here. I let Deanna and Grace name it. They call it Autumn. I don't know where that came from. More than likely Deanna. Okay. Autumn. And it's Autumn Distribution Company. And Autumn is real feminine distribution company to get away from that liquor, right? So, give me some of this yak, right? You had to get away from that, but that's right. She's right, that wine and spirit. Now, Denise taught me something about CrossFit. I'm going to make you talk again now, Denise, because anyway, tell us, educate them on how you educated me on CrossFit.
So if you're somebody who absolutely just hates even considering exercise, most people see all the games part of CrossFit, which is very competitive, very high level, but CrossFit is a modality, a fitness thought process on how to become fit as opposed to strong or flexible, or it kind of combines everything. Anyway, so the thing about CrossFit is that it's a community that is full of encouragement. Everybody works at their own level, but everybody works together. You cheer loudest for the last person, and it has it's a global following now, because especially at the CrossFit Games. And so recently, CrossFit, Facebook, all of us have probably experienced it at some point. If you haven't, get popular enough, and Facebook will put you in what we call Facebook jail for one reason or another, where they shut your account down or you have no access to it because they didn't approve of something. And really, it's their shady stuff on the back end that they're doing. So CrossFit was like, well, we're not having that, because there's a group that has like 1.2 million people, a nutrition group that is run by one of the CrossFit affiliates. Not even by CrossFit itself, but by one of the CrossFit affiliates, and they put them in Facebook jail. And so CrossFit headquarters said, well, we're pulling our CrossFit from all of your platforms. So Instagram and Facebook will have no more exclusive CrossFit content, no games, no open, no regional finals, no invitationals, no nothing. We're pulling all of our stuff. And so the question in the CrossFit community among the affiliates were, well, how are we going to get the word out about CrossFit? But CrossFit has become such a huge global thing. And the thing that I told Antonia was, CrossFit has become the new golf course. So those who are, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, they go make deals on the golf course. It's like it's an exclusive club, and the assumption about who you are is made if you're able to even step foot on the green. And so CrossFit has become that new golf course, because this community, you are networking, like if you just jogging for a warm up, you're talking about, say, so what do you do? And where do you go? Oh, you know him? I've been trying to get in that industry. No problem. Because if you suffer together, you're willing to support each other in anything. And so there are so many deals that are just made among the CrossFit community, among those who are, the 50, 40, 30 something year old professional who are looking for a community that will support them and who they can support. And CrossFit has become the new golf course.
Brilliant. You got me to the point when I'm thinking about buying me somebody CrossFit company. At this point, I'm just buying companies left and right, y'all. It's ridiculous what I'm doing. I've honestly thought about buying Liddell just out. I really did. I really did. And when I buy, got this from Warren Buffett. When I buy companies, I keep the good leader in place. Hey, you keep doing you. Checks just come to me now, and we'll flip this. So I almost bought Liddell. I ain't lying. I ain't playing. Let's say, don't play with me. I ain't playing. I almost bought Liddell just out. Just, hey, man, here's $500,000. Let's go ahead. I need you to go ahead and get that one, get that one, get that one. But go on, keep running it, right? Keep running. I almost did. But thank y'all. We spent some good time. Now, it's not that we're going. I never have a problem going over, because my customer base loves it when you all are sparking it. Just point out a couple of concise things that, well, when we go over, it's because y'all. Oh, don't almost. I ain't mad at you. Yes, you're very welcome, PJ. Very welcome. Let's just recap some PowerPoints for this phone call. Give me 60 seconds and we're out of here. I had a different agenda. I polled my audience. 2 to 3 people were really passionate about talking and getting this stuff done for them, right? And when they did, I fed off their energy, directed the call. Everyone else enjoyed the call. You get it? And I didn't have to go, oh, well, y'all not doing this or that or whatever, blah, 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 right? There was no need for doing that. I just stuck with that energy, stuck with that call, tailored it. Now I don't even know what the heck to call the doggone class. I have no idea what to call this class. I'll figure it out, right? But there it is. Those are key points, because while I tell you to adjust to your audience, I'm also showing you that I adjust to mine. The very last thing I would like to tell you all is create that invisible barrier. If you're having a problem, your narrative becomes the cushion between your problem and your bank account. And you need to put your narrative so well to where it's planting ideas in people's heads. Now, of course, you want to back these ideas up. I tell you, I give you cutting edge training that I ain't never going to stop, that we ain't nowhere near going out of business, right? That you will not get screwed over and I will not upsell you. I've kept my word on all these points. So you can't just promise people stuff and then not do it, right? Good stuff. All right, well, appreciate all of you. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plan better, you can dominate. And appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Thank you for staying 17 minutes over. Thank you.